Half a day, Guam. I'm Jason Salas, and I'm joined now by a friend of the program, someone who personally I have not talked to in a year, but she has nonetheless continued her very, very tireless work and her passion for educating the community. And it is World Breastfeeding Month. Not that many people realize that, but Nicole Heiser with La Leche League, with the University of Guam, and with a whole bunch of amazing programs that are really benefiting our community is joining me now in the K-Room News Zoom room. Half a day, Nicole. Good to see you.
Half a day, good morning.
Okay, it looks like you're in the back of your car, and by the slightly blurred background and everything like that, it seems like you're near a jungle. So where are you exactly?
We are at the beach
Nice.
because when we're on Guam, we work from home at the beach.
As it should be.
Why not?
There you go. But I mean, you're all smiles today, and you and that enthusiasm and that positivity continues into your work to educate and when we talked last year, both women and men and kids, about the importance of breastfeeding, and your scope is kind of like broadened a little bit. So get us up to speed on what you're working on right now and what you'll be doing this month.
So this month, as you said, is World Breastfeeding Month. So we are working towards community awareness of how breastfeeding is helpful for not just moms and babies, but whole communities. And I'm really excited that I have just started on with a new project here that's taking off the ground in Guam called Champs National. And Champs is an organization that is offering help through a grant with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Champs stands for Communities and Hospitals Advancing Maternity Practices, which is a big fancy way of saying that they are working towards improving healthcare outcomes and specifically reducing racial disparities in access to healthcare.
Okay, there is that word disparities, and that pops up more and more often these days because people don't realize not everybody in the community has either immediate access or access in terms of transportation or even, the educational awareness of the wealth of resources available to them or the steps that they have to take, to live a healthy island life.
That's right. So that's one of the things that the grant is aiming to do. It's a 3-year program, and the program is enrolling 100 hospitals across the U.S. And we're very fortunate. We have a team here, 3 of us, Miss Antoinette Kleiner, who's a UOG nursing school professor and a nurse practitioner, and a senior nursing student, Dorothy Colodro, and myself. We're working to bring access to these resources to 3 hospitals here in the Pacific Islands. So we're working with GMH as our first hospital to get off the ground. And then we'll also be working with hospitals in Saipan and Palau. So we are working towards really creating a collaborative effort to get people, the hospitals, access to resources to help them take the best care they can of their mamas and babies. We know they're working hard towards that, and we're just kind of here to help connect them with teaching and education, training for staff, information they can share with patients so that there's a better kind of community awareness of the importance of breastfeeding and practices that support breastfeeding.
Okay, now, I'm gonna, put on my hat and say like, the glass is half empty. I'm gonna be, pessimist if I may, for just a second. Nicole, in your professional opinion, what are some of the challenges and some of the hurdles that we have to overcome as far as like really making sure the message gets across? Because I would say that, most people realize that, breastfeeding is so essential to the well-being and development of a little one. Um, it's instinctual in women obviously as human beings and everything, but in practice has it kind of like tapered off over the years?
Well, like you said, it is in some ways born of instinct. It's the biological norm to breastfeed a baby. But when you come to the practical aspects of it in our modern world, it's not always that simple. So a lot of times the people we encounter who struggle to meet their goals, they just didn't have access to the right help when they needed it. And so that's really what we're trying to do, is make sure people have access to information so they can make good decisions, and also improving kind of the baseline level of education and awareness for our healthcare staff, who are often the first ones that mom and baby will encounter, who are going to help them with breastfeeding. So we're trying to kind of elevate everybody's awareness so that we have a better outcome overall.
Okay, and
And
I like how you said that between mom and baby because obviously those are the two most important components in the system, if I can phrase it like that. But you made the point last year, and I thought very effectively so, that breastfeeding is and should be a total family activity, and everybody needs to get involved in providing space and technological resources and time and and things of that nature.
right. So there's the act of breastfeeding itself, but it really takes a whole, if you think of the mom and baby as like the little bubble in the center, and then there are other concentric circles going around, like layers of support in order for them to really get the best outcome. So support from dad and family members to help mom and baby, especially in the early days. And then you go further out in the bubble, help from employers to, ensure there's space to pump at work if that's something mom wants to do, or space to take leave or time off to get the baby. And then, at a community level, there's uh, spaces to breastfeed. It really, with the Nanny and Patna Act that passed here on Guam in 2013, moms have a legal right to breastfeed anywhere they're allowed to be. But in practice, a lot of people maybe don't feel comfortable just, being out in the open. So that's also something we're kind of working on, is that if everybody kind of has an awareness of breastfeeding, that it's a good thing to be doing, then moms will hopefully feel more empowered to feed their baby wherever they need to, and normalize that as just a thing that happens that's necessary for care. So
Okay, and obviously this is an undertaking that, not just because of the grant, but you and your colleagues, like I said, you really this isn't a job for you, it's a calling, it's a passion. So you're doing this 365 throughout the year, right? But because this is World Breastfeeding Month, where can we in the community expect to see you out and about, if we have questions or you're doing outreach or things like that?
there's a few ways to connect with us. As far as connecting with breastfeeding support, so we have breastfeeding peer counselors on the island through WIC. So if families qualify for WIC, they can see a counselor there. Families are welcome to message the La Leche League page to get breastfeeding peer support. And a lot of what Champs National is doing is more specifically tied at the hospital level. So we don't necessarily have an office you can walk into and ask questions of, but we are sharing information with our contacts at the hospital that will trickle down to patients
Well, you
directly.
start your
We've
morning
already,
working at the beach, and then you go and visit the various people in various hospitals. So you got the best job in the world.
it's a lot of fun. I can't complain.
And you're truly doing, like an amazing job because something that's so necessary. And, I remember because like I'm a little on the older side, but in the 80s, we would have these public service announcements that would be, it seemed on TV, every 2.5 minutes that would really emphasize the necessity of eating your veggies, taking your vitamins, getting good rest, breastfeeding, and everything like that. Is there some sort of, like social media outreach campaign or, some sort of messaging that you'll also be doing to really like drive home this message throughout the year?
Yes. So the World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action is WABA is the acronym. They're the ones who select the theme for World Breastfeeding Month every year. So they have a lot of a great social media presence. We have a little bit of a local social media presence. There's a Facebook group moms can join called the Guam Mamas Breastfeeding Support, and I like to think of that as like a big virtual mom tribe to support each other. Moms who have questions are also welcome to ask questions in there, and that page is monitored by lactation professionals who, moms can chime in and answer, and professionals will chime in and answer too. So that's a good free resource for getting questions answered and popping on social media. Sometimes it can be hard with social media. It's like you don't know which is a credible source to get information. There's just so much information. How do you know which one is good? So
Oh,
that's
but
that's a nice
trust me,
way.
I've given you guys the blue check mark. You're verified by KUM because these wonderful women and guys that are involved with this project, everybody watching, they know their stuff and they really care.
Yeah, so that's a good place to ask for help and get good information.
Okay, and then I
And
guess my final question, Nicole, for you would be, what are some of those, the questions, generically speaking, what are the most common inquiries that people have that bubble up, either for people that are just getting into breastfeeding or, maybe some of the more disadvantaged pockets of our community here on the island that, have these kind of questions and want to do it the right way or just never knew about these kind of things? Like what are the common FAQs?
so a lot of questions we'll get, especially if it's a new mom and baby, new first time breastfeeding, is just getting the baby to attach correctly. Getting a good deep latch helps the baby transfer milk efficiently and helps mom be comfortable because we don't want that to be painful. And unfortunately, some people aren't aware that it's not supposed to hurt. It might be a little uncomfortable as you're getting used to it initially, but it's not supposed to be painful. A lot of people will stop early because it doesn't feel good. So that's a common thing we help with in early days is making sure we have a good, secure, deep attachment and baby's transferring milk well, mom's comfortable, and kind of different positions to hold baby to make that easier to do.
Because I'm
And
sure
then what
there's a lot of mamas out there that would say, I want to make sure I'm doing this right because obviously, like I care about myself, my baby is my world, and I just want to make sure I'm doing this to the best of my ability.
That's right. So we are really trying to make sure everyone's got good tools to be able to be successful with doing that and having access to care, especially out here. You know, the experiences of families out here in Guam or Saipan or Palau, they're not the same as like somebody in Fresno, California, or upstate New York. So we want to make sure with this program we're really collaborating with the folks with boots on the ground in the hospitals and making sure we're providing support and resources that make sense for our communities.
Well, you are the best in the business when it comes to doing that. So, okay, final thoughts. Do you have anything else you'd like to put out there about what this month means to the community?
Well, I think going back to that idea of the concentric circles and the bubbles, even if you're not somebody who's breastfeeding, you're not somebody with small children, you can be a breastfeeding supporter and it benefits you too. When our families are healthy, then our whole overall community health is improved. And you see a mom and a baby out and about, give mom a thumbs up. Probably make her day that she's doing a good thing. Give her a high five.
Mothering is a job that never ends, but is the most valuable job in the world. And Nicole, you and your colleagues are doing an absolutely amazing job at what you do as well. So thank you for what you provide for our island family.
Thank you very much.
All right, and we'll catch up sometime this month because we want to make sure later this month because we want to make sure that everybody is on board and everybody has all the information that you're putting out there.
Great. Thank you so much. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Nicole.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
Catch Health, Home, and Lifestyle every Tuesday following KUM News Prime Time. We've got you covered with health and lifestyle news each Tuesday on the stations of KUM and our digital streaming platforms. Health, Home, and Lifestyle is brought to you by the Medical City, your trusted partner in health.